Man, I'm just so tired today. Can I really go on and do the JRPG news today? Oh, man. Wait a minute. No, I'm good. We got this. That's that is the worst. The worst so far. Good morning to you, and welcome back to today's JRPG Weekly Update. I am SuperDerek, and we've got a lot of news to get through today. An old series gets revived, canceled localizations get revived, and Gung Ho is Gung Ho about Grandia. But before we get to any of that, we've got today's top headlines, which the top headline of today comes from the Nintendo Direct that just came out last week. The September Direct really just blew me away, but what about it was it that blew me away? Was it Luigi's Mansion 3 Dark Moon? No, not really. Was it Pokemon? Of course not. During the Nintendo Direct, Nintendo revealed that Atlus will be bringing over Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, or Sharp FE, Encore, to the Nintendo Switch. The game was originally slated as a Persona X Fire Emblem for the Wii U a long while back, but it eventually took a sharp turn during development, pun intended. The remaster will actually be coming to Nintendo Switch, bringing the total number of reasons to own a Wii U down to 1. As far as I'm concerned, Xenoblade Chronicles X. And on the subject of Xenoblade, Nintendo wasn't quite done dropping jaws at their Direct, because at the tail end of it, they announced, or revealed rather, that Xenoblade Chronicles 1, the original, is getting remastered for the Nintendo Switch as well. And all I can really say is, it's about freaking time. Xenoblade was a massive and beautiful game that was honestly, in my humble opinion, wasted on the Wii's 480p display resolution. The game, for a long while, the most best way that you could experience Xenoblade Chronicles was to play it on the Dolphin emulator in 1080p, because the game assets still looked really good in high definition like that. But with this re-release, it looks like Nintendo's attempting to reclaim said title of the definitive way to play the game. So that's excellent. And what's more, the definitive version of this game appears to be more of a remake than a straight-up remaster, based on several screenshot comparisons that we've been seeing on subreddits and such. The trailer even shows sections of an area that was cut from the original game and is using a completely different engine. It looks like it's using the engine from either Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or something like that, and it just looks jaw-dropping. This truly looks like we will be getting the definitive new way to play Xenoblade Chronicles, and honestly, I am looking forward to having a new excuse to play the game. And we also got some new games announced this week. Brigandine, The Legend of Runergia, I hope I said that correctly, was announced for Nintendo Switch. And this is a follow-up to the coveted Brigandine Legend of Frenza on PlayStation 1. This is a strategy/tactics RPG on kind of like a hexagonal honeycomb grid sort of system. Anyway, it's coming to Nintendo Switch in spring of 2020. Also announced is a game called Fairy Tail, which is coming out in 2020, and this is a new RPG, a new JRPG inspired or based on the popular manga and anime series Fairy Tail. The game is being developed by Koei Tecmo and Gust, which is a pretty good start. The game is coming to Nintendo Switch, PS4, and PC in 2020, and probably most importantly, the mangaka, the guy behind the entire IP, Hiro Mashima, will be supervising the entire development, which again, that is probably really key to making sure that this actually comes out in a way that will appeal to fans of the anime and manga. And also, Nintendo in Japan had a Direct that was a little bit different from the one that we got here in the United States. And one of the differentiating factors that they showed off in the Japanese one is that they announced Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are going to be coming out in Japan and Asia regions, coming out on September 27th of this year. And while there hasn't really been any news of an official Western release at this time, there is a silver lining, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do, we got some localizations and release dates to talk about. Onion Games made an announcement regarding Moon, the anti-RPG, which was announced for the West 22 years ago for PlayStation 1, but we never ended up really getting it. So after all of this time, we're finally getting a release date update. The game is set to launch in Japan on October 10th, and is going to be launching in English worldwide, quote, not too long afterward. The game will instead launch on Nintendo Switch instead of PlayStation 1, which is probably a good thing. And if you're really curious about this game, and you should be, because this is actually, it looks really, really bizarre and interesting. If you're curious about this game, Daria of Daria Plays RPGs, we've done some reviews together and we're good friends. Definitely go check out her video. She's got a really, just a wonderful rundown of what the game is and why you should be excited for it. And I'll link to it over here somewhere. And Square Enix also provided an update for the Trials of Mana remake with a release date update. And that is coming out on April 24th of 2020. It's coming again to PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and to PC. Little Town Hero also made an appearance in this week's Nintendo Direct update. While showing off the game, they showed off a lot of new gameplay elements, and we got a release date for it as well. It's coming out October 16th of this year. God help us. October is going to be really hard on my wallets, guys. I hope you're able to have your wallets take cover before October arrives. September is going to be pretty rough as it is. In other news, during the Nintendo Direct, Nintendo of America revealed that the Super Nintendo titles are going to be making their way over to the Switch Online, which leads into the fact that Breath of Fire 1 is now currently available for free to Nintendo Switch owners who have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So, not really free, but if you have it anyway for the online for like Smash or something, then you can play it without having to pay anything extra, which is pretty awesome. This game is a classic. It is an audiovisual powerhouse for the Super Nintendo, but it has a relatively high encounter rate and kind of a lackluster translation. Here's a link to my full review. It's pretty old. It's one of my very earliest ones, but if you're interested, I think that I still stand by all of the opinions that I stated within it. I highly recommend that you give the game a go, and I hope you enjoy your time with it. In other news, Gung Ho Online Entertainment is considering more work with the Grandia IP. Azario Lopez of NoisyPixel.net, they interviewed Kazuki Morishita, the CEO of Gung Ho, and based on the article that they've written, it sounds like the reception of Grandia HD has been really great so far, and they're internally considering a Grandia 3 and even a Grandia Extreme remaster, and they're not completely ruling out the possibility of a new entry in the series. Quote,
"There's a lot of discussion internally about this based on the voices of users who want to see it happen. Grandia is not a title that I personally started, but I do have a lot of respect for it. If we were to put something new out, I would want it to fit in well with the original series and prove it where I feel I can, which does put a lot of pressure on me. Looking at the RPG aspects of the series, I have to work on finding a way to create something that will satisfy users."
End quote. Moving on to some community news, we got a new fan translation that was released on romhacking.net, and it is titled Constellation Nerdulus. And this has been released by Stardust Crusaders over on romhacking.net. The game is a turn-based RPG with a focus on humorous and a quirky setting in which it's like a matriarchal society and an otaku guy is trying to prove that he's a real man, and it looks kind of like a Dragon Quest clone / maybe like an Earthbound Zero sort of style game, and it looks like it focuses heavily on the situation, the humor of these situations that it puts you through. At least based on what I've read and what I've seen, it looks like it could be a lot of fun to play through, and now it's available for free on romhacking.net, so go check that out. Last week, earlier I teased that silver lining for Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 HD that's coming out over in Japan and Asia regions. Well, here's the follow-up to that I was alluding to. Last week, following the announcement in Japan, a fan of the Dragon Quest games over in France started a petition hashtag on Twitter and other social media accounts to bring the Dragon Quest trilogy. This hashtag campaign has started to take hold and pick up steam, and in what appears to be a response to that, Square Enix Asia has released a statement on their Facebook. The trilogy is being released in Asia as kind of a set, as a group. It'll have a physical release available over there in Asia, and it will be releasing physically with English language options, which is really great. And because the Switch is region free, you can get these games from retailers like maybe Play Asia, or if you would rather not worry about getting the physical copy, you can still set yourself up with a Japanese Nintendo account online, and you can actually just download it from the eShop using your Asian region account, and you can play it on your Nintendo Switch. It's really pretty cool. So with either option, you will be able to play these games digitally or physically, which is just really great. And in SuperDerek news, Finally, I was able to finish Star Ocean: The Second Story. The review is now being written. Expect to see it soon. Now, for this week's forecast for upcoming JRPGs, we've got Light Fairy Tale Episode 1, which is coming to Xbox One this week. That is a JRPG developed by NecoWorks on PC, and it's also available on PC, rather. Greedfall is coming to PS4, PC, and Xbox One. This is a Western action RPG that's developed by Spiders, a studio called Spiders, not actual spiders. Path of Exile Blight is coming to PS4, PC, and Xbox One. This is also a Western action RPG developed by Grinding Gear Games. Caravan Stories is coming exclusively to PlayStation 4, and this is an RPG by Aiming Inc. Uroareru Monozan, say that 3 times fast, is coming exclusively to PlayStation 4 this week as well. This is an action JRPG developed by Aqua Plus. The 10th Line Special Edition is coming to Nintendo Switch. This game is already on PC and PS4, but now it's coming to Switch. This is an RPG developed by Sungazer Software. And we've got more. Throne Quest Deluxe is coming to Nintendo Switch. Also, this is already on PS4 and Xbox One, though. This is an action RPG by Valorware. And then, for something that's really cool, but isn't necessarily an RPG, Demon X Machina is coming to Switch this week. I remember being blown away by this when I saw it at E3. This game is actually more of a combat/mech combat kind of game. It's definitely not an RPG, but it looks really cool, and I figured you guys might think it looks cool too. And this is also being developed by First Studio. Which leaves us finally with today's question of the week. There are a lot of games that are coming out this season. As you can see, it's started September. These games are all coming out just in this week alone, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of games coming out. What is one game that you definitely are looking forward to buying this season, and what is one game that you are regretfully not going to be able to pick up this season and will have to pick it up later? So that's my that's my question of the week. And honestly, I'm just so inundated with all of these games, I'm not even sure how best to answer. I think that question even just broke myself. I think a game that I definitely will pick up this season is going to be The Outer Worlds. I think I pretty much have to make sure I pick this up. And the game that I'm probably going to have to pick up after the fact is likely going to be Dragon Quest S. Dragon Quest XI S, because, I mean, I've already played it, and I've already reviewed it, and I'd really like to get in and play a lot of the new stuff, but God, it's already 100 hours long, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of the extra content to make the review worthwhile, and man, I think I might just have to come back to that at a later point. So anyways, thank you for joining me. I am SuperDerek, and this has all been news to me.
Hey Derek, it's Gaming with Spoons. Just calling to mention that PlayStation 1 game Brigandine seems to be getting a sequel exclusive for the Nintendo Switch. But I thought it was pretty cool to see a PlayStation 1 game, especially one such as niche as that, getting a sequel in 2019. Definitely something to look into, definitely something to keep an eye on and be excited about.